We had last year, we had over 500 students participate in either credit recovery, grade recovery, or original credit courses in the summer, so that they could then have more options and opportunities in their schedule once the regular school year began. So as most of our activities in the summer, all of our activities this past summer because of COVID had to be virtual, but we had a robust program provided for those kids. And we'll absolutely keep you posted. Tonight was just a first blush on
Yeah,
the planning
I
that's
see
happening.
that, but I think it's really an interesting way to fill in the gaps, maybe without students realizing that that there's some remediation going on, that it can be kind of a cool thing. And then sort of piggybacking on myself here, Mr. Pinkerton, what does your crystal ball say about additional recovery funds? Or what is CASBO or AXA? Is anybody planning a bug in your ear about whether we might see additional monies?
No, I think they're talking about a stimulus package right now. So what that entails, we'll see. It's an interesting time, right? With legislature waiting to see. I think we'll get some. Honestly, I think there'll be some stimulus relief to schools that will help, some of these programs. But honestly, some of this we can do within our current structure of the system that we have now.
Sure.
So,
within our LCAP?
Yeah, within our LCAP, even within our current schedule, like the way it's set up. We've talked about, I know the high school principals have taught in middle school, have talked about, having those at-risk kids just stay all day, right? Flipping periods, doing things with staff. So there's a lot of great ideas that don't even cost money that we can do to help kids. So, but I do think we're going to get some stimulus funds.
But after the things that we've discussed tonight and committed to, the ionizers and the supplementing the costs of childcare, will we have any funds left that we could use?
Yes.
If we wanted to help create vibrant programs?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of savings that we talked about if we don't go back in person, or how this, but we've saved a lot already this year. Last year we saved a lot and we were only out for 3 months. We've been out for probably 6 months by the time we go back. So there's funds for things that the board wants to, push forward and do for kids.
Yeah, we really need to help them. Students just really need our help now.
Agreed.
Okay, thanks.
Evelyn, then Chris.
Yes, I had a couple of questions, but I wanted to piggyback off on what Marilyn was talking about regarding, the summer learning opportunities. And I just wanted to share a brief little story that I think a couple of summers ago, when we had students back in person, some of the teachers were doing some really creative project-based kind of learning within that. And those, when I was going around talking with those students, they did not want to go home. They wanted to be at school the entire time. And they, for many of those kind of students who may have some, issues at home, I think they really are craving that kind of environment. So I'm really excited about this. I think this is a great opportunity. But I did have a quick question about, and I don't know who would ask this, when the Fast Bridge, 2 questions regarding the Fast Bridge assessments, is that K through 12 or is that just elementary? And then secondly, when they are used, I think Mrs. Storm mentioned that they are January going to be used with teachers and students in the classroom. Will we have some kind of a feedback loop from the teachers as to how effective they feel, how easy they are to use, how informative they are, that kind of information from the teachers?
Yeah, I can address that, Mrs. Frame. So we started the year assessing 1st through 8th grade in reading using FastBridge at the very beginning of the year. And we did some math in 1st through 6th. We didn't assess kindergartners because, it was the beginning of the year. They had never been in school even, right? And then we used FastBridge again at the trimester in second grade and up at the elementaries as the reading benchmark for the report card. A lot of the challenges that we heard from teachers had to do with remote administration. Takes a long time to get them logged on, things like that, that really would be a lot faster in a classroom. So the MTSS team, you know, we have first grade back at Smith, and those teachers graciously agreed to let our MTSS team come, and we are going to assess them all. The first grade assessment in FastBridge is in person. It's a one-on-one, obviously it's in person, but it's a one-on-one assessment. So it takes about 5 minutes for reading and 5 minutes for math. So we want to test it and see if the teachers, you know, feel like the data they get from it is useful. If the MTSS, you know, team feels like that's something that's manageable, and really get some good feedback. I really want some older students back to do the same thing. So I keep waiting for that to happen. You know, and we actually have a slow high school teacher that reached out looking for some reading data. So we're going to meet with her right after winter break, and she may give it a shot. So, so we may creep our way up into high school too. So the teachers have given us several survey rounds of FastBridge in remote administration, but it's so different, and we want to see what it's like in person. So I think we were mentioning maybe we need a FastBridge board presentation, and we would be happy to do that because it is a very big tool with a lot there for us, and we keep talking about it. So I think we need to go a little deeper with you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Agreed.
And then I just had a quick question about, I think, and I don't know who to address this to, when we're talking about bringing small groups back, will we get information as to, you know, who those students are, at what sites, and is, you know, it's such a general term, and I know parents are asking questions. So will that be a presentation on, you know, what sites have the small groups, what grade levels, or what does that look like?
We can put that together and share it with the board just so that you know where the kids are and who's participating in those groups. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And, you know, I know that the sites would be happy to have any of you board members come and see that in person if you'd like to check it out. It's inspirational
Okay.
to see the kids and learning and how teachers are making it happen. Really incredible, the things that are happening, you know, at sites
Thank
and
you.
via distance learning.
Thank you. Chris?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, we can't downplay the community partnerships that we have. I know that Dr. Prater has had a lot of good conversations and work with the YMCA to create what essentially are summer day camp learning environments. Is that not correct, Dr. Prater? Yeah, you're off there, huh?
Yes, that is correct. It's called Camp Thrive,
Right.
where the students come in the morning. Camp counselors are there all day, but in the afternoons, the kids have the opportunity to have a camp experience. So a few days out of the week, they go on field trips throughout the county. They go to the swimming pools, they go hiking, enjoy the beach on hikes. So it's a really successful emerging program, one on the coast and one in the city.
Yeah, and so those are the kinds of things that I think we're talking about and that I'd like to see a continuation of as we're able to do it. The second thing I'm thinking is we're talking a lot about and I'm sorry that I'm going to use this term, about the recovery of learning loss. And it is something that I read about fairly frequently. But I'm thinking that we will be doing things and things will be emerging through our MTSS system that we'll be able to apply once we're back in school in-person instruction. And I really look forward to that. Just like I think that that some of the things our students are learning using the Chromebooks, using their hotspots, we're never going to go back. things are not going to look the same when we get back into in-person instruction. How are we going to use this? How are we going to use this to the advantage of the students? We have students that this is the new normal for them. And we need to take advantage of that, and we need to leverage that for their learning. So I'm just excited about that. You know, I'd like to think there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm hopeful that when this is over, we can take the learnings that we've gotten and really help make it even better for our kids.
Mark,
You're on mute.
So Rick, I had another thought on the small group, and one of the things that I think maybe that I'm hearing is that some of the groups include multiple grade levels. So there might be a first grader or third grader. So some of the families are mixing students of different age, and they're finding that that's helpful because the kids are working with each other. Is that something that you might see as beneficial, and is there a way to capture that?
I think so. I think childcare is a perfect example of that. You know, students come from all different grade levels into those childcare pods, and there are ways that you can mix the students around and you know, help each other, that kind of thing. Sure.
anyone else? We really appreciate these continuing updates, and especially entering into some of these new areas in anticipation of the return to school and what things will look like. And I think to Chris's point, and that there will be things that will never be the same, but what taking the best of what we've learned during this experience and figuring out how to keep it going. And we really appreciate your work, and it's new and innovative and covering new ground and all those things we're experiencing during this time. So thank you. We'll look forward to hearing more.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're going to the item 9.03, approving increases to minimum wage and substitute salary schedule.
Hi.
Yeah.
That is not allowing me to start my video, but I'll go ahead anyway. Okay, there it is. Start my video. Hello. Good to see all of you. So this item is about every December we bring to you increases in the salary schedule. And so this year the minimum wage is increasing from $13 to $14 per hour. So there are 3 salary schedules coming forward to you. The adult school pay rates need to increase. The SEIU salary schedule, crossing guard schedule needs to increase. And then we have, we commensurate with those 2, we're recommending that the food service worker, the instructional aide, and the paraeducator subs be increased as well, just to be competitive. And so you will see 3 new salary schedules that are all effective January 1st in this item. So I'm happy to answer any questions. We also have an interesting idea to increase, this is like a short-term idea to increase the substitute wage if somebody subs for us for a certain amount of time, therefore building some longevity in the substitute position. And we'll see if that works. And if that does, it's kind of a short-term try at this. And then if it does, then we'll bring something back to you later to increase it again. But there we are. Questions?
Chris?
I guess we need to go to the public first.
Yes. No one. Okay, Chris.
Yeah, Kristen, to your point about some different ways of looking at substitutes, I would just share with you that my son does substitute teach in San Francisco, and that's something that they do. And it has encouraged him to maintain his place in the sub list and to sub as much as possible when he's got his other days off. So I don't, it has been effective for my child, and hopefully it'll be effective for the rest of our district too.
Good. We just figured if we build some loyalty among certain subs, and then increase their wage after they've been subbing with us for a while, that maybe we could see people want to stay with us. Marilyn?
You're still muted, Marilyn. There you go.
Are you talking about, we were talking, I believe what I read was $150 a day for subs that take a long-term assignment? Or are you talking about subs that are repeatedly sub for us?
We're talking about, this is a new idea, but subs who between January and June would be with us for more than 20 days, that we would increase their wage up from, normally they'd be paid $125. They would be paid $140 for the remainder of the days that they substituted. So they get a $15 increase every day that they subbed after 20 days, just basically encouraging them to stick with us so they could get the higher wage.
So what was the 150 that I read? Do you?
150 is for long-term subs. So those are people who are in a classroom and doing all the work of somebody who's on leave. That's different than somebody who's a day-to-day sub. And we're basically saying a day-to-day sub that stays with us for more than 20 days, or subs with us more than 20 days, would bump up to $140. So not quite as high as the 150, but still kind of that loyalty bonus for being with us.
So the $125 a day that just a sub who comes in for a day or two would receive, where does that put us with our neighboring districts?
We're about on par with the neighboring districts. I think Lucia Mar is also $125 a day. It's a little bit more than some, but it's pretty much average on par for the others. You know, our staff had a long debate about this, and they're not feeling like it's necessarily the wage. We definitely want to be competitive, but a lot of it is like childcare issues, people feeling comfortable being in classrooms at this point in time. That is preventing probably a lot of our subs from working. And so they wanted to try this idea of increasing it to after 20 days and seeing if it does anything for encouraging people to work for us.
Yeah, I think it's really worth a try. Okay, thanks for explaining.
Sure.
Anyone else? Okay, this is an action item to approve these increases. Is there anyone who'd like to make a motion? Chris?
So moved.
And Mark is seconding. So Chris,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Eve,
Yes.
Catherine,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
and me, yes. All right, thank you. Next is item 9.04, Measure D, Design Build Modification number 8.
Get my screen on. So we have, as we talk to the board, again, at the study session, we reviewed kind of the remaining projects and budgets. We have 2 GMPs for you tonight. And so this is the first one. And so excited that we are able to bring forward the 100 Center GMP. So this is the 100 building at San Luis Obispo High School, is the main student building, the former offices, library in the back, classrooms up top. So that, of course, is being completely reconfigured. The south section is currently under construction right now. All new science classrooms and facilities there, restrooms, and is going to be fantastic for kids. And so because we've been able to open the Student Support Center, which is the new office and theater at the base of the school at the entrance, we are now able to begin construction of the middle section. So this is a large budgeted project out of our Measure D dollars. Out of the 177 million, we've been able to, of course, add an additional almost $30 million to the projects through state funds, and developer fees. And so this GMP actually came in as estimated. We hoped that with everything going on in the economy that it'd be lower, but I'm happy to say it wasn't more than what we had anticipated. And so, with based on the remaining projects and where we're at, we feel like, this number's in line. We will do everything we can to save any pennies we can, and especially through allowances, to ensure that we have all the funds that we need to complete all of the projects that we promised and that the board promised with Measure D. So without any further ado, we'd really like to get this work started. And so we're asking the board to approve this GMP. Mr. Holcomb is here to answer any board questions, should you have them. He was actually at the opening of the bids for this project as well.
Thank you. Anyone from the public here to address us on this? Hi, Ron. Nice to see you. All right, then we'll come back to the board. Any questions, comments from either Ryan or Ron? Catherine.
I just want to verify that the plans that we saw that have the library and the dining area on what used to be the second floor, I assume it's still a second floor, we're still able to provide those beautiful facilities.
Yeah, so the facade itself is going to look a lot like the new math building in the old gym, right? So it's going to have that kind of mission style feel for it. The upstairs of that building is now going to be a beautiful student center, library, computer lab area in the front, right? Beautiful windows coming out, not the iron bars around the front of the building. And then the back space of the top is actually 3 classrooms, one a digital media lab, and then 2 computer labs that will service the students as well as the CTE programs on campus. The bottom is going to be a huge cafeteria towards the back, which is the current library, which will allow us to serve all the students at the high school should we need to. And then the front is going to be kind of a massive multi-purpose student union space. It's got everything from kind of places for kids to sit, but it's also got kind of those hangout areas so they can, plug in, sit, eat lunch, stand. It'll be beautiful.
Excellent. So exciting.
Yeah.
All right, anyone else? Oh, Catherine, you still have your hand up?
No, I think this is not a motion, right? So never mind.
We need to approve.
Actually, this is a motion.
Okay, great. Then I so move.
All right, and do we have a second? And Marilyn second. All right. And Marilyn seconds. Okay, Catherine,
Aye.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
Chris,
Aye.
Mark,
Yes.
Eve.
Yes.
All right. Next is 9.05.
So yeah, this is actually the second GMP to share tonight with the board. And so this is the south section. So there's the section between the CTE buildings, the 300 wing, the auto shop, and the south section of the 100 or the former theater area. So all of that needs to be completely redone, new ADA access that goes all the way down into the 500. So as you, and Evelyn actually asked some great questions to me about this today. And, whenever you touch a building, basically all the outlying areas around the campus have to be brought up to standard. So in this case, all ADA accessibility has to be done along with all the infrastructure work that we've done in the past. So this GMP of 1.4 million is basically to do all of that work along the side. Slow high for the board to know coming up in the future will be the north section. So as soon as the south section is done, the science classrooms, the north classrooms will move into those science rooms. And then we'll begin that work. We have the front quad area will be another GMP that comes forward. And then we also have the track and field project that will be, hopefully very soon coming to the board. And so we look forward to bringing that to you. So this is, again, the South Section Quad ADA access area.
Thank you. Anyone from the public wishing to address us on this item? No. All right, we'll come back to the board. Any questions or comments? All right, then this also is an action item. Anyone would like to make a motion? Chris, and a second by Mark. How's that? All right. Mark,
Nice. Yes.
Eve,
Yes.
thank you. Catherine,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes,
Chris,
Yes.
and I vote in favor also. All right, next we have some first readings on some board policies. It's very exciting. I want everyone to wake up and pay attention.
Yes.
Let's go
So,
on.
yeah, thanks. I will start with Board Policy 0460, which is on the LCAP Local Control and Accountability Plan. You will notice that there's an addition from your board subcommittee that talks specifically about parent participants, especially from those unduplicated student groups, which I know kind of mirrors the board's focus on ensuring that we hear voices from a variety of parents, especially when the plan looks for ways to address needs of those exact families. And then you will see many adjustments from legal adjustments of removal suggested there on the back. So this is a first reading. I would suggest bringing this one back for a second reading.
All right, anyone from the public wishing to talk to us about this board policy? No. Any questions from the board? And seeing none, this will come back to us in our action consent count section next time. And next.
Great. Next one I have is Board Policy 4116, which is on certificated probationary or permanent status. You're going to see a lot of deletions here from Gannett and legal, as well as the subcommittee looking through making adjustments to which portion would be selected. Again, this is a first reading, so I would suggest bringing it back for second reading as well.
Anyone from the public on this? No one. Any comments from the board or questions? All right, we will see this next time. And still you, Kim.
Great, thanks. Next, I have Board Policy 4216, which is the same similar policy that you just looked at previously, except this one is for classified personnel. You see some of the same updates that happen with Ed Code, that the policy now reflects those changes. It was lots of changes from Gannett reviewed by your subcommittee. And again, I would recommend it come back for second reading.
And anyone from the public on this? No. Any questions or comments from the board? All right.
Thank you. Next one, I have Board Policy 5131. This is a student policy around conduct. And you'll notice that it has just some updates about electronic devices, including cell phones, etc. It's just a simple update related to new code there. So again, I would recommend a second reading for this one.
No one from the public? I'm getting the nod. All right, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, thank you, Kim.
You bet. Just your last one this evening is Board Policy 5142. This is a student policy about safety. So that there was good Gannett and legal updates. Your board subcommittee did review this. It really talks about kind of updating information about a safe environment, has kind of some additional information about crossing guards, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, etc. So it has been reviewed again by legal information from Gamut, your subcommittee. This one's also a first reading, so I would also suggest a second reading.
And anyone from the public? No. Any questions from the board? All right.
Great, that's great progress tonight. Big thanks to Ellen and Mark for all your hard work too.
Hey, we meet again tomorrow. We'll see, who knows what we'll come up with. All right. So we will now move on to action consent. Please let me know if anyone would like an item pulled. 10.01, approval of warrants and payroll. 10.02, disposal of surplus. 10.03, approval of certificated and classified personnel items. 10.05, approval of purchase orders and Cal card purchases. 10.06, proposed revisions to board policy 1312.3, uniform complaint procedures, second reading. 10.07, proposed revisions to board policy 3515, campus security, second reading. 10.08, proposed revisions to board policy 5123, promotion, acceleration, retention, second reading. 10.09, proposed revisions to board policy 5141.22, infectious diseases, second reading. 10.10, proposed revisions to board bylaw 9323.2, actions by the board, second reading. We made it through them all. No one wants anything pulled, so if anyone would like to make a motion on items 10.01 through 10.10, that would be lovely. Anyone? Chris and Mark will second. You guys have a tag team going. All right.
I move approval of consent agenda items 10.01 to 10.10.
Thank you. All right, here we go. Eve,
Yes.
I snuck up and called on you first. Catherine,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Marilyn, yes. Chris,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
and me, yes. Did I get everybody? I got everybody. Okay. All right. Anything for the advance agenda at this time? Any reports by board members at this time? Mark, then Catherine.
I just want to say, and it's just as myself, speaking for myself, I just hope everyone will call or write or somehow get in touch with their state representatives and make sure that our teachers who are first responders have access to vaccines as quickly and as well as any other first responder, nurses, medical staff. We're asking our teachers to come back into the classroom, and they deserve the same access to the vaccine as other first responders. That's my comment.
Thank you. Catherine.
This isn't a report, but I need to say in no uncertain terms that I personally denounce the comments attributed to Eve Dobler-Drew and cited in the statements that we heard tonight. I also heard the pain in the voices of our parents who were here to tell us how they feel about this. I hope you were heard by Eve and that she does the right thing. And in my opinion, that would be to step down from the board.
Anyone else at this time? All right. Okay, then that concludes our meeting this evening. I wish everyone a happy and healthy and safe holiday and new year. We'll see you in the new year. Thank you very much.